Welcome to the content talk on interaction support strategies. During this content talk, participants will be able to explain and use types of curriculum accommodations, such as adult support, peer support, and invisible support. In today's session, we are going to talk about specific accommodation types that involve support, adult support, peer support, and invisible support. We will begin with adult support. Adult support is having an adult intervene to support the child's participation and learning. Teachers work hard to develop lessons that get individual children actively involved in learning. Even when the most thoughtful lessons are well structured and created, some children will still struggle to participate or maximize potential. Simple accommodations to the learning environment and the curriculum, such as the use of adult support, can help children progress. Adult support can be particularly effective to support a struggling child when the adult has built a relationship of trust and care with that child. Once rapport is established, adult support brings a sense of security and connection to the child's learning experience. Adult support can be carefully timed to encourage participation and prevent problem behaviors. It requires no additional resources beyond a teacher's patience and skill. To increase a child's participation, an adult can join in the child's play, use praise and encouragement, provide a model. Sometimes all that's needed is to help a child be more successful in an activity in the presence of a trusted adult. By joining in the child's play, the adult has a front row seat to the child's success and struggles. The adult can provide timely encouragement and supportive comments. It also provides opportunities to facilitate higher levels of play and to prevent discouragement or frustration. By being there, showing the interest, and offering comments, the adult can draw attention to the child's success. The adult can convey that the child is important and can slow down the pace of the activity, de-escalate a conflict, or provide gentle reminders using touch and words. As an adult offers praise and encouragement, the adult can also model new skills. There are times when a skilled adult is able to offer just the right amount of support in the moment. However, this strategy works best when it's planned to fit the child's needs and when it is executed with intention. This ensures that an adult is present at critical times and the child has the opportunity to engage successfully in the activity. A child is repetitive in her dramatic play and spends most of the time trying on the same costumes. We see this in photo 1. So the accommodation is that the teacher invites the child to join her peers at the table for a pretend meal. The teacher invites the child, and his presence and encouragement gives her the confidence to expand play. In photo 2, a child is usually hesitant to touch and explore different paint materials with his hands or art materials. His parents are concerned that this is limiting his play experiences. The accommodation is that the teacher joins him at the paint station by being there, offering him smiles, encouragement, and commenting on his willingness to try new things. She gives him the confidence to expand his sensory experiences. When an adult has intentionally joined in a child's learning experience, praise and encouragement are positive ways to increase the child's level of persistence and participation in an activity. We must build on children's strengths. As we provide encouragement and quality feedback, an adult can help a child continue in a challenging activity to persist or a routine by simply drawing attention to what the child is already doing well. So you would give specific words of encouragement through your exact feedback. I see you really worked hard as you were focusing on writing that letter. And look at the lines that you've made. Look at when it was hard for you, you kept on going. You're going to say things to help children understand, yep, this is tricky, this is challenging, but I think we can do it if we just keep trying. With persistence comes increased confidence. An adult can encourage new skills or a higher level of participation by making comments and suggestions based on the current level of the child's strengths. By taking turns with the child or using multiple step tasks, the adult is also encouraging. Provide eye contact, smile, use the child's name, give a thumbs up, a high five, or another affirming gesture. Profile the child in an announcement or a song. Praise the child's strengths. Narrate what is being done so the child can learn from their participation. Prevent or diffuse a child's frustration. Be very aware and notice when there are challenges that you need to address immediately. Encourage the child to persist. To support a child's participation in learning, an adult can also model how to expand on an existing skill or perform a new skill. In some cases, that may be all the child needs. In other cases, the child needs some physical support, perhaps. And so the child will need help in perhaps making motions to songs, cutting with scissors, climbing a new structure, pedaling a bike, cutting with a knife or fork. The additional support helps children experience success when they are close but not quite ready to perform the skill independently. You can determine how a model can be demonstrated or supported. Maybe it's something face-to-face, as we see here in this picture. Maybe it's in photographs or drawings. Maybe a video of that support and that model is shared. This strategy works particularly well for children who are learning expressive language or learning a new language, who require some social emotional coaching, such as labeling their emotions or being able to problem solve. This tends to use limited or repetitive actions during play. So a child who is using limited or repetitive actions during play or other activities. If the child has prerequisite skills, needed to perform the new skill, but just needs to hear the new skill first. These are examples of scaffolding. In the first picture here, you see a child who is tending to get overwhelmed during hallway transitions and often reacts by pushing or shoving other children. The teacher is aware that these transitions are difficult, and so she makes an intentional plan with an accommodation to make sure that someone is present during the transition times to model deep breathing. This helps the child calm his body and return to the classroom without any further disruption. In photo 2, a child with mild motor delays is learning to hop on one foot. The accommodation is that the teacher creatively uses the dot rug to make the challenge more fun. The models include her modeling side by side the skill that she would like for him to try. Now let's watch a video and we will see more examples of adult support. In this video, the teacher uses modeling to support Sonia's participation in the dramatic play and then fades her support.
Here are some children playing grocery store during free choice in the dramatic play area. Just as the teacher had hoped, 3 of the children are playing creatively, taking on roles and enjoying one another.
Oh wait, we forgot the apples. My mom says apples are good for you. Do you eat apples at your house? Yes, I do.
Sonia, however, is struggling. Usually she doesn't even go to the dramatic play area, but today she notices how much fun the other kids are having. She wants to be a part of it, but she doesn't know how. Watch as her teacher steps in to offer Sonia support.
Hi, Sonia. It looks like we need someone to bag the groceries. Watch me. Thank you, Tasha. Come again soon. Now you try it.
Thank you, and I'll come again soon. Can I go shopping this time?
Sonia now has the opportunity to successfully interact and learn with her peers through play.
So, what we need to think about for our next video is looking at what would you do. We're going to watch the scenario and then we will see that we have to think about ways that we would support the different children who are struggling to participate. In this video, you can see that the child is struggling to participate.
You almost had it. Oh, you were doing such a great job. Let's see. Let's start over. Let's start with this piece. Look at this. Do you think it goes there? Look at there. That's my big boy. Look at this tail. Where do you think this man gonna go?
This child is disengaged during sensory
Qué
play.
bonito, ¿qué hizo ahí? ¿Qué hizo?
What would you do?
Vamos a hacerlo así, mira. 5 patitos que conocí, flacos, gordos, amarillos, yo los vi. A ver, ahora tú. 5 patitos que conocí, flacos, gordos, amarillos, yo los vi. Pero el patito con la colita de pluma guiaba a los otros con su cuac, 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 cuac.
A common problem is that wandering. What would you do?
You have your name, so what center are you going to now? Science. Let's look and see. We have Kaden, Josiah, and Kanidra. It looks like we're full right now. We can go to writing. You love writing. Or we can go to blocks. You like to build. Or we can go to library because you like to read. Which one would you like to go to? You would like to go to writing? Perfect. That's Antonio's. Great. All right.
Family picture is either in the science area or in the book area.
What would you do?
Cassie? Ooh, lots of food. Ooh, delicious. Some pineapple. We'll have to cut the pineapple first. There you go. Corn. Look, this is how I eat my corn.
Those gave us examples of how to facilitate children's independence, to increase or decrease support levels as the skill improves. So notice as soon as the young boy went over to, was just asked simple questions, where do you want to go? You have your name for centers. He was able to talk very clearly that he could go to the Science Center, and when that was full, she provided several choices. And so it's, looking for signs for that progress. It's being prepared for how behaviors may change. So the adult can use support sparingly, but it needs to be very effective to support a child. So it's the best way to promote independence and success. Consider whether a less intrusive accommodation to the environment could provide similar support while reducing the child's need to rely on others. So although we really want to help as adults and intervene for children on their behalf, we really need to be as least restrictive to their own independence developing. Look for these signs to facilitate independence. If an adult support is the level of support necessarily, observe the child's behavior to see the progress. Decrease support as the child's skills improve. As the child begins to participate with more independence, it's important to adjust these levels. Empower the child, preventing dependency and allowing teachers and adults to put their attention where it's needed most. Now let's look at this video and see examples of a teacher adjusting her level of support in the moment based on the child's shifting level of independence.
You wanna go down the slide? Đi xuống cầu tuột nha. Đây. Con vịn mở ra. Giỏi, mở ra. Đi lên cô giúp. Một chân. Rồi đưa tay cô cầm. Rồi đi qua đây. Vịn ở đây. Mở ra. Giỏi. Rồi. Cỡ đó lên. Yeah, you did it. Rồi, đi cái nữa. Đứng dậy. Mở tay ra. Giỏi. Cô ấp. Yeah, you did it. Did you do it? Yes, you did. Okay. Cô tuột với con nha. Nắm tay không? Okay, put your hands there. Okay, ready? Set. 1, 2, 3. Whoa! Is that fun? Yeah!
Daniel, who is a learner who has shown skills that are above his age level, is losing interest in free choice time, particularly in the block area. The teacher joins to discuss and model a more complex structure for the child to work on. So we empower children. A couple of days after offering ideas and support, the teacher notices that Daniel is independently engaged in the block area again. She decides that for now, she can stop providing him additional challenges. Sadie, who is struggling with fine motor skills, loves flowers and enjoys sorting activities. Her teacher has noticed her timidly showing interest, but never fully engaging in the tabletop activity. The teacher joins in and begins by asking and talking to Sadie as if Sadie is an expert sorter. She then goes to model and use the tweezers. By empowering the child, the next week, the teacher observes that Sadie is confidently using tweezers to sort the flowers. Instead of sitting down to offer her encouragement, she decides not to break Sadie's concentration and observes from a distance. Curriculum accommodations promote participation. Adults join in children's play, use encouragement and effective feedback, and provide a model. This gives support and empowerment to children. Let's take a look at peer support. Peer support utilizes when peers help children learn important objectives. What improvements have you made in your life with the help of a friend? Maybe it's learning how to play a guitar. Maybe it's going to the gym more frequently and being an active exerciser. Maybe it's to improve a teaching practice that you've wanted one of your respected colleagues to be involved in, and by observing and giving each other feedback. Maybe you're trying new recipes or learning how to sew or quilt. Peer support is beneficial for learning new things. When implemented with intent, peer support can encourage a child to participate at a higher level. In the process of selecting one peer to support another, consider the answers to the following questions. How well do the strengths of the peer complement the needs of the child who is struggling? Does the peer seem willing or eager to help? Does the child in need of support receive some help and encouragement from peers in general? So are children on their own doing this? And then from the specific peer you have in mind, does the child receive this encouragement? In order to make these decisions, take time to observe the children closely as they interact with each other throughout the day, but particularly as they interact during play. Children with the following characteristics tend to be strong helpers of others. They're caring, so they're concerned for others' well-being. They're patient. They avoid making others feel that they're a source of frustration. They're flexible. They're comfortable varying from a routine or activity. They're talkative, eager to engage others in conversations. They're playful. They're lighthearted and with a sense of humor. They're positive, generally happy, usually seeing the good in people and situations. They're affirming. They openly encourage and celebrate the success of each other. They're enthusiastic. They show interest and enjoyment in activities or opportunities to discover and learn. Let's take a look at this video, which shows examples of peer supports. To increase a child's participation, encourage a peer to offer encouragement and enthusiasm. Be a model and act as a helper. In this video, the teacher has paired a child who is discouraged by the difficulty of handwriting. The child's been paired with a peer who speaks the child's home language and is excited about rainbow writing.
Al revés. Primero usa estos dos colores para que lo hagan. Y también café, estos, para que los hagas. Y otro. Ahí está.
Brian, you did it. And you did your math thing too. Nicely done.
Tienes que buscar el color para. Si lo haces, te soy tu amiga. Pero pone todos los colores y
What'd you win?
I win this. No, I have to win this with a teacher. I win this.
You did it before Brian.
Where did you learn to write it in rainbow?
Teacher.
Wilson taught you how to write his name in rainbow. And then you wrote it again over here? Yeah. And you wrote yours again right here?
Yeah.
And look how you did this part in rainbow and this part in one color. Just a second, Marilyn. One color. Awesome. Thanks for teaching Ariel about the rainbow. I know you like to do that each day.
A willing and proficient peer can be a wonderful model for a child with emerging skills. A teacher can simply position a child with emerging skills next to a peer who naturally demonstrates the desired skill at a predictable time. Or as needed, the teacher can briefly ask the peer to model the skill. For example, Maria, can you show Frankie what the waiter does at your restaurant? In photo 1, the child has limited play skills and tends to become disruptive during choice time. The teacher tells the child, who's the peer, during choice time to support. A child is easily distracted when transitions in the hallway occur. The teacher pairs the child with another peer who is supportive and knows the expectations of the hallway and can provide gentle reminders. I would caution everyone as you integrate peers together not to overuse the peer model. That can put pressure and stress on children, certain children in particular. We want to be very selective in the use of this support strategy. Let's look at this video with teachers facilitating peer modeling.
Tell me the name of this ocean animal. Tell her, Daphne. Help her. Help her. In English, we say jellyfish.
Right.
What is, Emily, is this a jellyfish that you do? I love it.
The jellyfish. Look at this.
Move over there. I can watch you.
I help her and she's just there.
Did you hear that? You helped her and she just said it. You say it for me so I can hear you.
Jellyfish.
There it is, a jellyfish. You helped her. I love that.
The other thing to consider,
Did you hear what Justin?
when we give feedback, we want children to do things because they know they're the correct thing to do, not because we say it, but because that is what is either accepted or it's the truth, it's the fact, and they've figured it out. When we make comments like, I love the way you're sitting, or I like the way you're doing that, or I love that, we minimize the opportunity for children to understand what it is they need to do for themselves, not for anyone else. So I think just tweaking that language is very important for children and for teachers. Just simply saying how wonderful it is that you said jellyfish and that you taught your friend that. Wow, that's so great. Takes it away from it's something that the teacher is emphasizing, and that helps because a lot of times children are just working hard to be compliant with their teacher rather than really navigating and understanding what it is they're doing to learn. Just a side note, let's continue with the video.
Justin was show Caleb. Yes, he was telling you that you can put your fork on your pancake if you want to cut it. Yeah, but he was talking about cutting it, Izzy. And then look at him. He's using his knife and he's going back and forth to cut it. But can you show Caleb? That'll be nice.
Let's do it. Oh, let's do it.
And see? Yep, he's trying it. See, look at Caleb. He's going to try it. Very good.
Some children naturally help, and they feel proud when they're asked to help other children. This is an effective way for teachers to promote peer relationships and increase participation in the classroom. A child who often is delayed when it's time to line up after recess to come inside can be helped by pairing the child with another child or friend who is patient and affirming and can take the child's hand to help him line up. A child who's not able to pour milk without spilling can be partnered with a peer who likes to help and can offer this to their friend. This video shows an example of some peers helping.
So I see that Ethan is playing with the trains. I'm wondering, or I'm thinking, how could we get him? We had been talking about how we were going to get peers interacting with him at least a couple times throughout the day. Who has bubbles? You can say it. Let's sing a song. Oh, Itzel has bubbles. Ooh, Itzel's blowing bubbles for Ethan.
Sẽ bó sao sẽ cài. Hảo lên, bó xài. Trong nhiêu à, hảo lá. Bó đủ sao à, đúng sao? Cái chân là cổ bò.
No.
No. Măng cũng phải bên này. Là phải chạy thôi.
109.
Okay, có sẵn sàng.
Tasha has been struggling to separate from her mother and join in play with her peers. Her teacher has been aware of Tasha's needs and is prepared to support her.
Bye, honey. Have a great day, and I'll see you right after school.
Stay with me. No, don't go.
Angel, would you mind checking on Tasha? Maybe she would like to play in the block area with you.
Okay. Hi, Tasha. Want to build blocks with us?
Okay.
Thanks for being a good friend, Angel. I see Tasha feels much better now. Tasha, are you ready to build something?
Mm-hmm.
Angel has been working on extending a pattern without much success. However, his teacher is ready to support him.
That's a nice tower you two are building. Why don't you try to repeat the pattern you started here? It looks like the pattern is blue-green.
I need help. Me too.
Tasha, I see you've made a very nice pattern. Would you like to help your friends make a pattern?
I can help. Okay, so blue, green, blue, green. Uh-huh.
Now you're getting it. Thanks for helping your friends, Tasha.
Thanks to the teacher, both Angel and Tasha have the opportunity to show their strengths and participate in the classroom community.
So curriculum accommodations promote participation. Through peer support, children and teachers can work together. Peers can be invited to encourage, model, and help. 2 outcomes in 1 strategy, support and membership. Now let's take a look at the 3rd type of support, invisible support. It's the final strategy. Here's an example. An invisible support can be a way that we're placing and embedding the support within the activity. So this would be an example called supermarket play. The first player says, I want the supermarket. I went to the supermarket to buy an avocado, or another item that begins with an A. Then the next player repeats, includes the word that was said with the A, and then adds the next letter of the alphabet, B. Each successive player recites the sentence with all the alphabet items and adds in one more. So for example, I went to the supermarket and bought an avocado, beans, cat food, and diapers. So we think about if the game was harder or at the beginning, was it easier at the beginning? So it depends, right? It's easier at the end because others give a lot of ideas for the answers. At the beginning, it might be easier because there's less to remember. So for a child with memory issues, we want to have them contribute the answer at the beginning. So that's the invisible support. We're moving the child to the beginning. For a child who needs a challenge, we're going to have them contribute near the end. An invisible support is the purposeful arrangement of naturally occurring events within one activity. Children are engaged in a quiet activity at circle time, as you see here in these photos. Then, when a couple of children lose interest and become disengaged, a movement activity is introduced. The teacher has intentionally shortened circle time and addresses the stationary movement activities throughout. The third photo is when children are making muffins, a child may have difficulty stirring because it requires a lot of motor strength. The teacher positions the child so that they get to use the egg beater later when the batter is easier to stir. I'd also recommend that if you're doing some sort of cooking activity like this, that you have multiple bowls, and it's really ideal if each child has their own mixture, because having to wait in group, and this is in a small group, so that does help that it looks like it's just 2 children, which would be fine. But groups that are larger than 4 for cooking, there's a lot of waiting that takes place. There's a lot of frustration that can be developed from this and a lot of loss of interest. So doing it in small groups and having lots of materials available so that everyone can participate helps these invisible supports come alive. And keep in mind, the invisible support in this cooking scenario was that when the batter had already been stirred up a little bit, then the child who had those motor issues had the invisible support is when you think practically and proactively about the order in which you do things to benefit children. Invisible support increases a child's participation without being obvious to the child or to others. It's purposeful, it's planned, and it's happening within naturally occurring activities. 2 ways a teacher can provide invisible support is to sequence the turns in an activity. So thinking about sequencing activities also in a learning center. First I will do this, next I will clean up. Let's take a look at how invisible supports are defined and some more examples.
My favorite curriculum modifications to talk about is this one that we call invisible support. Invisible support really is a teacher who's thinking proactively about the order in which they will do things that will benefit children. We might not have any idea of all of the strategies that teacher has put in place and thought about proactively before the children even sat down. So I'll give an example. A teacher who wants to have an example of 2 words that rhyme, for example, during their circle time, would call on a few children who would demonstrate that well, who are really good rhymers, before they called on the child that might not be as strong with that skill. So she's thinking ahead about how she's going to give multiple examples before she calls on the child so that it increases the chance that they'll be successful. There was a teacher who was doing a cooking activity using some frozen yogurt. Well, we all know that like frozen yogurt or ice cream starts out, it's really hard to scoop at first. So she actually strategically gave children turns in which the first child that was scooping had really great fine and large muscle control and could do that even though it was exerting some effort. It was at the right level for that child to be able to do it. And then it went around the little small group table, and the last child to use it was a child with cerebral palsy who had some fine motor and gross motor delays, where scooping the really hard frozen yogurt would have been difficult for that child. But by the time it got around to him, it had melted, it was softer, and he was able to scoop it easily, but still with effort. So it was this way that the teacher thought about beforehand how she was going to give turns in a way that supported everyone's efforts. And so that's a great example of invisible support.
Usually in the large motor room, he doesn't really like to participate in music and movement or dancing. It's kind of hard to get him engaged, but I think, and that's a good start, so maybe next time when we do another large group or music or movement in a large motor room, maybe we can say, Markel, would you like to be the leader? Would you like to lead this activity? So this way he can actually participate a little bit more in a different way, but still be within the group. Okay, one more time. Ready? Let's do faster. Come back. Oh, Markel, would you like to help drum? Come. Markel, drumming or watching? What would you like to do? Drumming or dancing? All right, good choice. All right, you ready? Mr. Jason's gonna help you. You're gonna hold. Hunting. Okay, Markel, tell which one we're doing first. Say, yell loud. Say hunting. Hunting. Markel said hunting. You guys ready to do hunting? Let's do Owen. Ready? Let's come say Owen's name. Owen. How many syllables in your name, Owen?
2.
2. Good job. You may wash your hands. Let's do Cameron. Ready? Cameron. How many syllables in your name? 3. Good job, Cameron. Let's do Westlyn. Ready, Westlyn? Tap into your name. Westlyn. How many syllables in Westlyn's name? How many? Good job. How many is that? 5? How many? 1, 2. Good job, Westlyn. All right. Go wash your hands. Okay, let's do Ariana. Ready, Ariana? Ariana. How many syllables in your name? 4. Good job. You can wash your hands. Let's do Rowan. Ready, Rowan? Let's do your name. Clap to Rowan. Rowan. How many syllables in Rowan's name? Good job, bro.
Curriculum accommodations promote participation. Invisible support is purposeful and planned, where children can be involved in activities when teachers sequence the turns and sequence the activities. The use of curriculum accommodations, adult support, peer support, and invisible support help children become full participants and access the curriculum and instructional activities in the classroom.